but we'll talk. Yes. It is now clear. It is now clear to the public and all that UDA and Kenya Kwanza have become professional turncoats. They say one thing and convince the public that they are honest. But in actual fact, their claims are a mixture of science and political nonsense. They have become political marketeers that pimp one claim by day and another claim by night, all with the aim of propelling their supreme leader to power, that is William Ruto. Deceit, fraud, and lies have become the currency of their politics. If we have bought their lies before, today, as the democratically elected representatives of the people, we draw the line. We draw the line on constitutional deceit. When we brought BBI to the court of public opinion, it was not about positions. It was about inclusion. It was not about arbitrary creation of constituencies. It was about fixing underrepresentation. It was not about ballooning budgets. It was about equitable allocation of resources. But UDA and its appendages opposed these amendments. In their rhetoric, they said that BBI was inspired by the devil and his brothers. Yet they knew that BBI was good for country and good for them as well. Today, they have beat an about turn. They are now sharing the positions they claimed we wanted to share under BBI. In fact, they are implementing the BBI proposals to the letter in their Kenya Kwanza alliance. And they are doing it because they know that these proposals were not only good for them, but they were necessary for their survival. The question that this begs, therefore, is this. If BBI was good for UDA, and they are now implementing it, why did they oppose it in the first place? This brings us to the second thing we must draw the line on. As elected representatives of the people, we draw the line on political deceit. That I've said before. Now, for starters, they rejected the idea of embedding political positions in the Constitution. Instead, they chose to share these positions using informal party mechanisms. This way, their supreme leader is not bound by the Constitution, but by regulations of a process he owns. He is in control and can rearrange the occupants of these positions without checks and balances from the Constitution. Why we call this political deceit is because they accuse us of creating an imperial presidency with BBI. But in reality, they were the ones creating an imperial presidency and blaming it on us. Failure to embed the sharing of positions in the Constitution is the best example here. The other part of political deceit is that UDA opposition to BBI had nothing to do with sharing of positions. It was all about opposition to equitable representation, benefiting the big communities. But more fundamentally, opposition to BBI was meant to stop the proposed fair distribution of resources across the country. The idea here was to contain the dominance of the big communities by ensuring they are underrepresented and underfunded. This way, the Kenya Kwanza Supreme Leader would have absolute control. But this scheme would also ensure that the Kalenjin Gema dominance continues. We support the sentiments of His Excellency the President when he spoke at the funeral of Honorable Musalia Mudavadi's mother. In this funeral, he questioned the perpetual dominance of two communities and urged Kenyans to choose a leader from another community for a change. If we do not break this hegemony of two communities and hand over the presidency to the maximum leader of Kenya Kwanza, the political deceit we have been treated to will become institutionalized. And this is why we draw the line to turncoat politics and the use of lies as the currency of politics. Thank you very much. That is the end of the statement. My colleagues will come in to...
Now you know, official statement has been read. Sasa hii ni siasa. First, we have always told Kenyans that Ruto is a politician who is deceitful, dishonest. In fact, he is known for political fraud. Two things have come out clearly from the revelations coming out of this agreement that has been signed between William Ruto and other various politicians, including Musalia Mudavadi, Wetangula, Mutua, and Kingi. One, Ruto is known to be always benefiting from the things that he opposes. He opposed the current constitution. He has benefited from it, where he has earned a salary for 5 years without working and enjoyed the trappings of power. Now he opposed BBI. He is benefiting from the provisions of BBI, although it is a document that has not been legalized. He opposed BBI, and there are three critical things that were coming out of BBI. One was the diffusion of power, the spread of power, and the sharing of power, inclusivity, which one day I talked about. The creation of the possible creation of prime minister, which is trying to bring through the back door, albeit weak, through what he is calling presidential executive order, creating position of a prime cabinet secretary, which is, I think he lacked the courage just to call it a prime minister. Yeah. He's the one who said that BBI is all about creating positions. He has created positions now illegally through an agreement. Number two was the issue of devolving of resources. Number three was the issue of representation. Those are the three outstanding issues. Now, if he has accepted the creation of more seats, it means he had a problem with those two. Why did he have a problem with the devolution of resources? Why doesn't he want resources to go to the counties? Why doesn't he want those constituencies or those areas which feel underrepresented to be properly represented? Finally, because I cannot talk about the deceitful nature of Ruto and I finish. It will take a week. I want to just conclude by saying I am shocked. Someone like Musalia Mudavadi, who is an experienced politician, seasoned politician, Moses Wetangula, Mutua, even if you are angry, I don't know what has made him so angry. Probably Kenyans know through social media. There is Amason Kingi. Now, how can you put your signature to such a document? Even a class 8 dropout cannot sign such a document. That you are told you will be given 30% of the government, you will be made chief minister or whatever it is called, and another friend of yours will be made Speaker of the National Assembly, only if you deliver 70% of the lawyers to my presidency. And you put that in an agreement, and you sign. Someone who is intelligent. I'm even wondering what their children are looking at them and wondering, do we really have right-thinking daddies? Because I cannot envisage how a normal human being who has been in politics even for a day can sign such a document. Amason Kingi, delivering 50% from Kilifi to get Senate Speaker. And you have been a governor for 2 terms. For heaven's sake, I really sympathize. What was this that these guys were doing? I think they should just come out publicly and tell us that they didn't care about what they were signing. Why didn't they care? They had already been sorted out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That actually the Kenya Kwisha group are erratic and they do not deserve to lead this country at all. Because if at the beginning they said that we are only forming UDA, we don't want coalitions, we don't want anything to do with coalitions, village parties, all those things, then they eventually formed a coalition. They said, oh, hao wengine wanatafuta madaraka, wanatafuta mamlaka, they are looking for positions, blah, 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 blah. Now it comes out that they are also looking for positions. So when we tell them that they keep on flip-flopping, they tell us that it's only a fool who does not change their minds. But this is not changing their minds. This is erratic. We cannot afford erratic people at State House. That will be dangerous for this country. They keep on flip-flopping. No. That's no. Kenyans should be very well alerted. And I've told them from the word go that touch William Ruto with a 10-foot pole. He has shown it clearly that he cannot be trusted. He says he's changing his mind because he's not a fool. No, that is erratic. You cannot have a head of state who is erratic. So we should avoid him completely. That's my message to the Kenyans.
Thank you, Tony. Now Jubilee.
Nimekuwa hapa kwa hii hall na kwingineko tukiongea mambo ya BBI. Na mimi nimesema tangu mwanzo ya kwamba jambo la maana kwa kwetu kwa BBI ni kwamba ilikuwa inaokoa Daragwa. Daragwa will be no more under the current constitution after our voting on the 9th of August 2022. When we said that, William Ruto said Uhuru and Raila are creating positions for themselves. It has now come to pass that you are dealing with criminals, political criminals. Kama hao watu wanaweza simama juu ya meza, waseme Daragwa na constituency zingine sikufe, na wadaganye watu wa Daragwa na kwingineko Kenya mzima ya kwamba ni tunatafutia Uhuru kiti ama ni Raila kiti. Na leo hii wametumia ile karatasi kutengeneza hiyo serikali yao, wanasema watatengeneza kesho. What are the evidence do you want as a Kenyan to fear William Samoei Ruto, a pathological liar? That guy is a hopeless liar. And I want to tell you, if you allow him near the state of power, wengine kati yetu kama watu wa Daragwa, mwisho wetu utakuwa umeonekana. Na watu wamekuwa kifikiria tunacheza dance hapa. 27 constituencies disappear after the 9th of August voting. And these gentlemen, if they are, did not even bother to address that issue when they were sharing power. BBI had given us life in this country. I come from Mount Kenya region. Now, one of the things we have cried about over the years, and we thank Uhuru and Raila for the handshake, was the unfair distribution of resources. Resources never came to our people in terms of the number of people who comes from our area. We were getting an extra 53.4 billion shillings every year. And it was not at the expense of any other county. It was one man, one vote, one shilling. That was giving us an extra 53.4 billion. William committed economic genocide on our people. And I want to tell you, we will not forgive him. Wacha hii kusuguka na suguka hapa kufikiria ni siasa. You can't take money from people when your others are getting more and nobody is taking from the other, and then you deny us. Alafu mchana hapa umeleta ukweli kusema ya kwamba ulikuwa muongo. Ulikuwa unafanya uongo tupu, kwa sababu kama ingekuwa ukweli, he would have addressed all the issues on the BBI. But he chose to address what benefits him and his team, and does away with everything else that was useful for the so-called hustler. Kwa sababu pesa inapoenda kule chini, basari inapatikana, mambo yote inapatikana, yale amekuwa akitembea kudanganya watu. Wakenya, jihadharini. This is the turning point. These guys have proved that they are not worth anything other than the desire to satisfy personal greed and nothing in terms of serving the Kenyans. Tumewaona, tunakuja, mtatuona.
Okay.
Vile mmesikia, jambo ambalo tunalizungumzia hapa leo ni kuwa kama mliona magazeti leo asubuhi, Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais William Ruto amesema sasa Musalia Mudavadi atakuwa waziri mkuu kwa serikali yake ambayo inakuja. Sababu inafanya afanye hivi ni kwa sababu kwanza amemuuliza Mheshimiwa Musalia kuwa atie sahihi mkataba huo wa kumkubalia kuwa atakuwa waziri mkuu kwa serikali ya Mheshimiwa Ruto, lakini Musalia amepewa condition moja, na ni kuwa lazima alete kura 70% kutoka eneo wakilishi magharibi ya Kenya. Pia ukiangalia Mheshimiwa Governor wa Kilifi, Mheshimiwa Kingi, naye ameweka sahihi mkataba na Mheshimiwa Ruto ambako anasema kuwa ataleta kura 50% ndio atapewa kiti cha kuwa speaker wa Senate hapa Nairobi. Tungependa kusema hivi kama viongozi. Mheshimiwa Ruto, BBI ilikuja akaikataa, akaichafua, akasema BBI ilikuwa ukora, na wale viongozi walikuwa wanasimama nataka kuwa BBI iwekwe katika katiba ya Kenya, akasema ilikuwa ukora, tulikuwa tunatafuta vyeo na makazi. Hili jambo ambalo lilikuwa kwa BBI, na BBI ilikuwa nazungumzia vile kutakuwa na kazi ya Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister na mawaziri mbalimbali. Sababu ni kuwa BBI ilikuwa anajaribu kutatua shida ambayo iko hapa Kenya, kuwa mtu mmoja akichukua uongozi nchini kwetu, ugavi wa mamlaka na rasilimali za nchi hii haufanywi kiusawa. Ilikuwa tujiangalie kama Wakenya, kwa sababu ukiangalia makabila zetu lazima tuanze uongozi wa kisawa, ndio tuwe tunaonana kama sisi ni ndugu moja na sisi ni watu ambao tunapendana. Lakini Mheshimiwa Ruto akaiua BBI, akaambia marafiki yake yeye hata kuwa na coalition government, yeye anataka kuwa na chama kinaitwa UDA. Muda kidogo tu amefanya coalition government. Hiyo coalition government ambayo amefanya ni ile ambayo sisi kama Azimio tulikuwa tunazungumzia, tunasema kama nchi ya Kenya hauwezi kutafuta uongozi wa Kenya kama unaangalia huo uongozi wewe kibinafsi. Lazima ugawe mamlaka katika jamii zote, na zile jamii ambazo utagawa wale wengine wanabakia lazima na wao waangaliwe kikamilifu. Tungependa kumwelezea Mheshimiwa Ruto kuwa tunajua siasa yake ni ya udanganyifu, na tungependa kuwasihi wa Kenya wajihadhari sana kuwa UDA kama chama ni chama cha kisiasa ndio, lakini kiongozi wao ni mtu anapenda kudanganya sana. Na tungependa kuwauliza wananchi wa Kenya kuwa wajihadhari na haya mambo yote ambao unaona UDA wanasema. Juzi nimeona UDA nasema kuwa reli ya SGR akiwa rais ataitupilia mbali, na ule mkataba uliokuwepo atautupa mbali. Ukora, hauwezi kuvunja mkataba yule wa SGR kwa sababu imeweka sahihi na rais wa Kenya ambaye alikuwa Mzee Kibaki. Kumwambia Mkenya kuwa sasa utaanza kureverse ile agreement ni ukora, na unadanganya wananchi, kwa sababu yeye ashaambiwa kuwa ukitaka kumuongelesha mtu kutoka pwani akupige kura, muambie kuwa SGR ililetwa ili kuja kumaliza Mombasa, kwa sababu SGR haitaleta maendeleo Kenya hii. Kwa hivyo tungependa kuambia wananchi hivi, wajihadhari, wahakikishe kuwa yale matamshi viongozi wa kisiasa watakuwa wakiyatoa vile tunavyoenda kwa mwezi wa 8 kwenda kupiga kura, nusu yao yatakuwa maneno ya uongo. Na tungependa kuuliza viongozi wale ambao wanatafuta uongozi, haswa Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais, tafadhali ndugu yangu, wakati mwingi ongea ukweli. Ambia Wakenya utafanya namna gani, utatoa pesa wapi. Bilioni 200 niliona unasema atutawapatia Wakenya maskini. Mimi niko kwa budget committee. Kenya hii saizi tuna deni shilingi bilioni 10 trilioni 11. Niambie utatoa shilingi bilioni 200 wapi wapatia wananchi ambao ni maskini? Waelezee, tunaweza kubadilisha hiki na pale, tujaribu kutoa shida zile ambazo wanazo hapa nchini Kenya. Lakini kusema kuwa sasa utaleta shilingi bilioni 200 sijui kutoka wapi ujaribu kusaidia wazee na kina mama na wale vijana wa bodaboda ambao saa hizi ni watu maskini sana, ni uongo mtupu. na tena sisi tutakuwa tunazungumzia haya mambo. Kiongozi yoyote ambaye atakuwa anaongea uongo na kuwadanganya Wakenya, tutakuwa tunamjibu na kuambia Wakenya ukweli ndio huu. Asante sana.
No questions.